Hi, guys. How's everyone doing tonight? It's Friday.
Hey,
Hey, Troy, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good. This is our
I
first
tried to
time
set my
actually.
microphone. I tried to do what you're doing, but it didn't work.
Oh.
To set, I don't know how you. Well, you're just more technologically advanced than I am.
Now, Troy, that's a joke. I call myself a boomer.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
You're
now my team's telling me I'm too late. Hey, Tara, how are you doing?
Hello,
Sarah.
hello,
Hi.
Just
hello,
gonna sit this
sir.
back there. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great. And
Well,
Precious, how are you?
I'm doing good. Oh, I love
doing
your
good.
lipstick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Oh, you're
welcome.
talking to Sarah. Okay.
Troy, I like yours
Troy,
too. I
you
like
might have
Thanks.
yours
some
too.
chapstick on.
Yeah.
Very subtle. Very subtle.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to make it. Actually, I don't. I think it's
Can I tell you
like
what it is?
yeah.
So with Instagram, it when you're by yourself, it
Mhm.
does your software to your microphone, but when someone comes up, it takes all that out. So it's just the gain is all the way
Oh,
up.
okay. Okay. So, all right. Good. I don't feel so bad. But I mean, yeah, your stuff sounds great.
Thank you. I
And I
feel
saw
like I'm
your
a little too
microphone.
loud,
So, no, you're
and I'm
perfect.
hearing feedback. Do you guys hear that?
Maybe it's me.
A little bit. Do I have it too? I feel like I have feedback.
A little bit.
Do I
Uh,
have feedback? Let me.
oh,
No.
I know why.
Ooh. Oh,
Oh, why?
My
Look, Tara's the
microphone.
non-boomer here.
yeah.
Um, Actually, I lied. I have no idea why.
Okay. Let's see. Is it still there?
Yeah.
It's a little still there. All
Hmm.
right. Okay. So where are you guys? Do you have your ear pods in or
I have no ear pods.
no
I'm just using my
Yeah. I'm just looking at my phone.
just
phone?
looking at my phone.
Yeah. That's the
Hmm.
extent of my technological advances.
I'm not hooked into my microphone or anything like that.
I might
Right. Yeah.
try to
I
unhook
was trying
mine.
to.
A
Yeah.
second. Okay. Is it still there?
Let me see.
I
No.
don't hear it. Okay.
Oh, a little bit.
It's still there still?
A little bit. I think it's
Okay, let
me.
me
Hmm.
try this.
Is it me, everybody? Hi, everybody.
I can't hear
If it's
anything.
me, am I the problem? It's me?
Taylor Swift. Have you noticed that people are like I don't know how many TikToks I've seen of people like critiquing Taylor Swift's latest album, and I'm like, she's a billionaire. She knows what she's
Yeah,
doing.
leave Taylor alone.
I
You
think she's doing
leave
okay.
Taylor alone, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't listened to it. I mean,
I
I
haven't
love
either.
Taylor. I haven't listened. Okay, let me see if I can find JT. Have you seen her?
I
Let me
don't.
see.
Well, all I
JT.
can see is you guys.
Okay, let me see if I can grab her. She's here. I'm gonna invite her up. I still hear a little feedback. You guys
Huh.
hear it?
Yeah, it sounds great to me,
Okay.
but
He's I
there
Hey,
she is.
JT.
JT.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are you
Look at
doing?
everybody.
that.
I'm
The
doing
band.
good.
The band is back together.
The band
It
is back
is.
together. Hi,
Yay.
everyone. So
I'm
good to
not
see
part
you.
of the band, but I'm excited to be here with the band.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we need a drummer. So
You're part of
Yeah.
the band now.
yeah.
Bam, done. Okay, well, thank you. And thanks to everyone who's joining us tonight. I'm so excited to bring this live to you. It is the second anniversary of the audiobooks release of Pen Pal. And I'm just going to read to you the Amazon description of this book. It's from Amazon. Pen Pal was an instant USA Today bestseller. The BookTok sensation is a high octane, tautly written dark romance with an unforgettable twist that will leave listeners gasping. This breathtaking story of undeniable love from superstar JT Geissinger is not to be missed. 1000% correct. All right.
Absolutely.
Now, for those joining us tonight, we are going to try to avoid spoilers, but we can't guarantee it, both in the chat and then with us when we start talking about things. So if you have not read Pen Pal, I might recommend you just maybe just leave and then come back on my podcast channel when I post this.
Yeah.
Come back then. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to try, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna
We'll be
try.
good. Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
And
be
if you
good.
do,
okay.
if you
Don't
do
leave.
hear a
Stay.
spoiler, I'm
Yeah.
just going to apologize in advance because it's probably going to be me.
Is
It
it?
might.
Can you not?
Troy.
I mean, not on purpose. It's just that
I know.
I don't know.
You'll
I
blurt.
just have a knack. It's my superpower.
Okay.
I,
So
I'm the same way, but I try. I actually get people yelling at me. It's like, you told this. I'm like, well, we're talking about a book, but this one, if you haven't read it, it's good. And I can't wait for you to read it. Okay. So I'm going to start with introductions and then we're going to get right into it. JT Geissinger is a best-selling American author, a self-taught late bloomer. She began writing in her late 30s after reading Twilight reignited her imagination. Her debut novel, Shadow's Edge, won a Prism Award for her best first book and launched a career now that spans 35 novels in contemporary, paranormal, and dark romance. Known for her emotionally charged stories, sharp banter, and morally gray heroes, JT has appeared on the New York Times, Publishers Weekly, USA Today, and Amazon charts bestseller lists. Her viral hit pen pal solidified her reputation as one of the most versatile voices in modern romance. So excited to host you here.
Yay.
I
Thank you
fell
for
in
having me.
I fell in love with pen pal, and then I went straight into Perfect Strangers, and then everyone's giving me more of your books, so I've got my homework cut out for me
Okay,
after this
good.
live.
I like
Um,
it.
well, thank you for joining us. Next is Tara Langella. She's award-winning voice actor, audiobook narrator, honored with 5 Voice Arts Awards for her outstanding work in audiobooks. She's known for her incredibly versatility, bringing characters to life in TV shows like Super Mega Cakes on Food Network, and in hit video games including Hades 2, The Elder Scrolls, Honkai,
Honkai Star Rail. Very
Star Rail,
important,
there you go.
Precious.
Trying, and
That's
God of
pretty good.
War Ragnarok. That one I know from Thor. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dara also has lent her voice to national commercial brands for like Hershey's, Geico, and Jersey Mike's, making her one of the most dynamic and sought after voices in the industry today. Thank you for joining
For
us. I'm so
sure.
excited.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, Precious. I'm so happy to be here. So,
Okay, and last but not least is Troy Duran. He is a prolific full-time audiobook voice actor with over 700 titles on Audible. Known for his warm, gritty baritone that brings romance, thrillers, and fantasies to life, fans praise his performances for their heat and intensity. You'll hear why in smash hits like Does It Hurt and Pen Pal. Based in the St. Louis area, he's been narrating professionally for more than a decade and remains a go-to voice for bold, emotionally charged storytelling. Welcome.
Yay.
Okay,
Yay, team.
yay,
so
team.
before I go into the book and questions, I thought I would ask Tara and Troy to read us this little snippet of this little glimpse of Pen Pal that's listed on Amazon, but read it in your character voices of
Oh,
Aiden and
exciting.
Kayla.
You know what?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hold on a second. I was supposed to do my homework, but
Oh,
Of
you're so
course you
funny.
didn't, Troy. Oh,
It's on the note card I sent you just to let you know if you can pull that up.
okay,
Troy's like,
hold on a
wait,
second.
who?
Any second, half an hour, 45 minutes
You're
tops,
fine.
Oh my
and I'm
God.
all, and I'm all yours. Okay, here it is.
Take one.
Okay.
Ready, Troy?
Wait a minute. I need to find it now. Okay, yeah. Um, so I have to start it.
No, I think it's me. The
It's
first letter
it's
arrived, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
okay.
okay.
The first letter arrived the day my husband was buried. It was postmarked from the state penitentiary and contained a single sentence.
I'll wait forever if I have to.
It was signed by Dante, a man I didn't know. Out of simple curiosity, I wrote back to ask him what exactly he was waiting for. His reply?
You.
I told the mystery man he had the wrong girl. He said he didn't. I said we'd never met, but he said I was wrong. We went back and forth, exchanging letters every week that grew increasingly more intimate. Then one day, the letter stopped. When I found out why, it was already too late. Dante was at my doorstep, and nothing on earth could have prepared me for what happened next. And nothing will prepare all of you for what
Oh
happened
God. Oh my
next.
God. I have
That was
chills. I wish you could see all the hair on my arms standing up. Oh, I
that.
love it.
I'm just so excited. Okay, so first question goes to, I would say, JT. Look at this. Got out of order. Here we go. Okay, so let's start with your journey. And I just want to say real quick, I'm still hearing feedback. Are you guys hearing it?
I hear
Yeah,
it.
I hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the chat. Chat,
I wonder.
um,
Let me
go
turn
ahead.
mine down. Let me turn mine down and see if maybe
Yeah,
it's.
maybe if I turn my volume
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Did that fix it? I think
Yes.
it might have, but
Is
can
that
you
any
hear
better?
us now, Troy? Oh, it's a
Oh,
little better.
I'm. Yeah,
I hear
I'm old.
something.
I need things loud.
Me
I
too.
hear, yeah, I hear you. So my question to the chat is it too distracting? Because what I can do, wait a second, that took care of it. I don't know
Is
which
that
one
better?
happened.
Wait,
Okay.
wait.
Yes.
Am I good?
At,
Am I good?
yes, at a girl.
Oh,
Okay,
not yet.
awesome.
It was
Thank you,
me.
Okay.
Tara.
I
Well,
was the problem.
I feel like I'm always the problem. So we're just going to blame me, okay? All right,
Yeah, let's
so
bring
here we go.
Precious.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Um, JT, you have
Yes.
such an inspiring story. You were a career executive until the age of 40 when you started
Mhm.
writing. Did the desire to write come later in life, or was it something you always felt drawn to when you were younger? And what made you finally decide to start to take that plunge?
Well, yes, I was my whole family were readers. So I grew up in a house full of books and I love to read. And I always kind of felt like many people do that one day I would write a novel. But it wasn't until my 40th birthday that I really felt like it's time to, time to do it. So, as you had said, I was inspired by the story of Stephanie Meyer, the author of Twilight. And I had read an interview with her where she said she didn't have any experience in journalism or fiction writing or anything like that. She was a stay at home mom. And she woke up from a very intense dream one night about this girl and this vampire. And she just started writing the book. And she eventually sold, I mean, now I don't even know, but at the time she sold like 140 million copies. And I just thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. I just found that very inspiring. Like your average regular everyday person could write. So yeah, so I did, and I I didn't tell anyone that I was writing because it seems like a very pretentious thing to do. I was a business owner, and I kind of didn't want to tell anybody because it just seemed like something I wanted to keep secret. So yeah, I wrote the novel, and I found an agent, and she found a publisher, and the book was a bestseller. And so my publisher asked
Mm.
for 5 more books in the series, and I was like, okay, I guess it's a series now, sure. So I did. Yeah.
And how quick, like, so you had probably were working and doing that. How quickly until you transitioned just to author? Like, was it after your second book or third book or
Oh
right when you
no,
got,
it was like 9 years. So I worked full
wow.
time. My husband and I owned a business together, and I worked full time while I was writing 2 or 3 books a year. And in fact, the only reason I think I actually went full time as a writer is because my husband was like, you're not spending enough time with the business. And I said, okay, give me a number that I need to make as a writer to where we can both quit this business and I can just do it full time. And so he gave me a number and it was kind of astronomical and he laughed. And I was like, okay, good, because I'm going to make that number. He didn't believe me. So I did. So then he retired and
Mm.
yeah. And
So he retired
oh yeah,
and
he
you,
retired back at, yeah, yeah.
wow.
He's a kept man now. So
I love it. But what is it's an inspiring
God.
story because I know a lot of my friends in the book world, they do want to start writing, but they're so afraid to fail. They're so afraid to, oh, but I'm so
no.
old. And I'm like, there's people out there that have done it and they're so much happier. Like
Yeah.
this is your true passion, right?
It is my true
Yeah.
passion, and I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always had to work for myself because I think maybe I just don't play well with others unless I'm in charge.
You
You
know
know what I
what?
mean? So
Fair.
yeah.
I do.
So yeah, but yes. So for me, this is just it was always my dream, but it's also just an amazing way to make a living. I get to create and I
Yeah.
get to interact with my readers, and it's a fantastic job. I love it. I wouldn't trade this for anything.
Well, and for us, we're glad that you're doing it because you just bring us such great stories and characters. And
And I know I
with
traumatize you sometimes too, but that's okay.
I've only done two, so I'm not quite there
Oh,
yet,
okay.
but
Okay.
these two were bangers, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tara, I always,
Just wait, Precious. Just wait.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually
I'm
ready.
traumatized in the
I'm ready.
best way possible. Why I
So,
love JT so much.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
I love her female characters. And you can see she is them. I'm
yeah.
not saying, JT, that all your books are about, you per se, but that strength and that fierceness is here. We see her,
That's
right?
very
That, oh
flattering.
my
Thank you
God.
so much.
You are
Thank you.
really inspirational.
That's
So,
nice.
well, Tara, tell me about your journey into the audiobook world. I love to hear where you guys started and how you kind of ended up in this career.
I ended up here because I started as from the theater. These guys, Troy and JT, know me, and they know that I started out as a theatrical actress.
Mhm.
Which yes, which you would never know.
Never.
You never know. Yeah, so I started in the theater, and I think it was just a natural progression for me. I was really, really into Shakespeare. I did a lot of Shakespeare, and
So
someone had
cool.
given me Othello is my favorite. And
Mm.
it's just so devastating and so beautiful. And some of my favorite soliloquies are in Othello. And someone had once given me that on, when we used to call them children, books on tape. They
Oh yeah.
used to be called books on tape.
Yep,
We're all
And we
showing our age.
we sure are. But yep, we all know what you're talking about.
listened
Yeah.
to the books on tape. And I listened and I was like, oh my God, this like hits me in a way that
Yeah.
nothing else, nothing like it, listen, watching the performance is just an extraordinary thing to watch and see things. But when you're just with those voices,
Mm.
and people don't realize what it takes to convey those types of emotions just with your voice. It was just sensory overload for me in a good way. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to really do more of this and more. And that's what led to me doing voiceover work, commercial work, things like that, video games, and then it just naturally progressed to audiobook. And I think it's a natural progression for theater actors in particular to do audiobook narration because the stamina is there, and you need a lot of
Yep,
stamina,
True.
yep.
which
Yeah.
is one of the things that isn't talked about enough.
Hmm.
Stamina and vocal health is not talked
Mm.
about, and
Yeah.
coming from the theater, you have to have that stamina to get through these shows. Every
Hmm.
Hmm.
Do you still do shows? Do you ever act on
I
stage
am
anymore?
full-time voiceover now, and
Mm.
I love it, Precious. I love it. I kind of um, I like the freedom that, to get
Mm.
away from this. I can play anything, especially in video games and things like that. I get to play creatures. I get to play, villains that are, 80 feet tall with claws. I get to play, I can play anything. And that is so freeing. And so I just absolutely love it. It's sort of like what JT said. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah,
I absolutely love this industry, and I love the variety. I love the variety of being able to do audiobooks and games and commercials or, television VO. It's just every day it's something different, and it's exciting.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
not met many. I've talked to several voice actors, and you all love it. Like you just, it's like something you kind of naturally made your self, made
If
your way to, and you love it.
if
Yeah.
you ever had to work a real job and then you do voiceovers, it's like there's
No comparison.
yeah, what's not to love?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
It's like I worked in construction and landscaping and
mm,
all sorts of like real jobs, and this one is much better.
yeah. Well, Troy, I know you've been around for a while, but I have not. I call myself new in the last
Mhm.
like year or two, got into books really, and then audiobooks. So
Yeah.
like, I'm sure many people out here know your journey, but I do not. So
Mm.
how did you get your into audiobooks?
Oh yeah. So well, I mean, I always loved to read, and so I mean, I was the biggest nerd, and all the way through from a young age all the way well till today. It's like I always loved to read, and I've always been a nerd. But I also so I knew that I wanted to be in radio when I was a little kid,
Mm,
and kind
Mm.
of like
mm,
gravitated toward that. In high school, I was interning at a radio station, and then got into radio, and I spent about 20-25 years doing radio. And but I had always uh, kind of gravitated toward that, but there was no way to be like an audiobook narrator as in the beginning, because if you didn't live in Los Angeles or Chicago or
mm,
New
Mhm.
York, a major metropolitan city, there weren't any studios dedicated to audiobooks,
mm.
and so it was just kind of a dream. But then with ACX, which is a subsidiary of Audible, which is a subsidiary of Amazon. I think everything is a subsidiary of Amazon. But
Yeah.
with that, you could connect directly with authors, and
Mhm.
as a narrator, and audition for their books. So that's what got me into audiobooks. But I mean, if it had been available to me way back in the day when it was books on tape, I would totally do it. So I
Um,
still remember my mom loved audiobooks, and she didn't listen to like any of the like the spicy stuff that I do. Luckily, I had some like Christian like historical romance stuff
that you just
that
gave her
that
and said, just keep listening to these over and over.
yeah, I said,
Yep.
here, mom, you
Yep.
could read,
Perfect.
you could
So
listen
Yeah.
to these.
sweet.
Yeah.
But I remember like she always had like they would sell them in like cases. So you'd have
Hmm.
like a case full of like 20 cassette decks or
Hmm.
cassettes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When when she made the transition to her Walkman, she did not she never turned back. It was like
Yeah.
I mean she lived with that little a Walkman
I
for
was going to say someone needs to explain this to
yeah.
the youngins. Yep.
Back in the 80s, Sony invented this really cool portable cassette player that you could use, and you
Oh,
could take
dear
it with
Lord.
you and listen to and listen to Run DMC, in your headphones.
Yes,
Yep.
you could.
Yep.
So, and that was like the Walkman took over from the boombox. If you remember the boombox,
I
like
Oh
sure
God,
do. I have
you'd be
one.
yes.
walking around with
Yep.
a
Oh
great big
God, yes.
boombox.
Yep.
Um,
Troy, what did you do in radio? You were a disc jockey? Like, were you on a show or
Yeah,
behind the
I did
scenes?
everything.
Yeah.
I did like morning drive, middays,
Okay.
afternoons, nights, overnights,
You
and
were
then
like WKRP in Cincinnati. You were that
yeah,
guy,
Yeah.
yeah,
Les or
I
whatever.
was Johnny Fever and Les
Johnny
Nessman at the
Fever,
same
that's
time.
right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Awesome.
so JT, I looked up some reviews on Goodreads. And when I
Oh
did, I
Lord.
noticed I
Don't do
there's a
that.
there's a lot of them, by the way.
I
Um,
know.
but you wrote this, and so it was almost like a review. You said, "Dear reader, your mental health is important to me, so I'm providing a warning before you decide to proceed. This novel contains content intended for mature audiences only. It's not suitable for sensitive readers. Full trigger list warning is on the author website. Please
Mhm,
be well, JT." So my
mhm.
question is, did you always plan to include that note in Goodreads to let your readers know, or did that come later based on feedback?
Oh gosh, you're asking me to remember back a couple of years. When I first started writing, trigger warnings and content warnings were not a thing at all, and I did
Mm,
not believe in them when they
yeah,
first started coming out. I felt very strongly that uh, you should experience the book as you read it, and you should just be able to deal with it.
mm,
As I grew as a writer and as I listened to feedback from people, the romance community in particular, because you're dealing with a lot of delicate subjects sometimes with essay or with all kinds of different things. There was a couple of reviews at the very beginning of when that book was published that I read and I sat on for a moment and I thought, that is actually a good point. And I do enjoy traumatizing my readers in a good way, but not in a way where
yeah,
they're actually going to feel harmed. I don't want anyone to feel harmed.
yeah,
So as a writer, as an artist, there is kind of this tension between how much do I reveal, because a lot of the stuff for pen pal, a lot of it could be complete spoilers for the book. If I put everything in there, it would be complete spoilers, so I didn't want to do that. But I did want to be sensitive that some people really do not want to read certain things. And because it's now much more accepted and much more, more authors are doing it, I thought, all right, well, let me just do this. It's not gonna put off people who don't care about the content warnings, who will just read anything. Like me, I don't care what's in there, I'll just read it. But
mm,
it will help some people who may otherwise have a bad feeling about the author or the story afterwards. I just want
yeah,
to entertain. I don't want to really harm anyone.
yeah.
So I did
And
put
it's
that in. And from now on, I'm putting in as much as I can without giving away the story.
yeah,
So,
there's several of us readers, we talk, and it's our choice. Like if you put them in there, we can choose to read them or not read them. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think anyone should be mad that you put trigger warnings anywhere because you don't have to read them, but if you
right.
need to read them, they're there. So that's kind of
Well,
like
the
where I'll
funny thing
land on
too
it.
now is that so my content warning list on Blackthorn, which is my upcoming release, is quite specific. And when my publisher came to me and said, I think we need to put a couple content warnings, I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it, we're doing every single one, and they're all going to be in there. And it's a sales tool for me. People who like to read that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and you can even see some of the earlier reviews are like, oh yeah, it's on. Look at this trigger warning list. I can't wait to read it. So some people actually use that as a sales tool. So, I
I
don't
mean, I will say the ones that the narrators keep going and going, like on the trigger warning, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun.
know. Yeah.
um, okay, so Troy and Tara, without giving too much away about the big twist, when you started voicing your characters, did you already know how it was going to go in the end? Or did you discover that like us, the readers, did as we went along? Like, did you know, or did you know when you got there?
Oh, I knew because
Okay,
I read. Yeah,
you read it.
I read it. Yeah, I read it and
Tara does
practically.
her homework. Troy had no idea what was coming.
Yeah. I get in
No.
trouble now. Yeah. I
He
didn't
was
realize
probably
how
reading the last page like, oh, wait, what?
yeah. Yeah, apparently you're supposed to like read ahead and do your homework,
So
but
you
yeah, it
didn't
was
with this
yeah.
book.
Yeah, that was I mean like as I'm reading I'm like, "No." And
Like I was like,
yeah.
no. Yeah,
Yeah. No, so
yeah.
and this was like I had an idea of like how pen pal was going to go. Um only because I mean, I think I might have thrown my Kindle when I read Perfect Strangers. Like I was
Oh,
in the middle of narrating Perfect Strangers, and you get to a certain part, which
Yeah.
everybody who's read it knows the part where you're
yeah.
like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And and
Yep.
so yeah, by pen pal, I walked into pen pal going, I know you're gonna do something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So,
But I did have to go back. Um,
mm,
I did have to go back and revisit a couple of voices um, after I finished it. So
so you learned and
I
then
think you actually did that in Midnight Valentine too, because I remember you sending
mhm.
me a little note like, oh my God, okay, I'm
Yeah,
re-recording a couple of these things based on, the new, which I love. It was great, but yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
but
yeah, sometimes I make work for myself, but it is really cool to like experience
discover it.
the
yeah,
Yeah.
story. Yeah,
yeah,
as it happens.
yeah.
So
So Tara, you always read the book. You
Yes.
do your homework. So
Yeah.
and so when you were voicing it then at the beginning, you knew all along.
I
You
did.
yes.
I
And
knew
but
all
you
along.
both did such a good job.
They did.
oh, thank you.
Amazing job.
But
Incredible.
but you also did an amazing job writing the story because I feel like some of us, we all are just smart women, men reading these stories. So like the fact that none of us caught on like, how did you do it? How did you plant those subtle clues without making it too obvious? But when you realized it's like, oh wow, you think back all the little instances you did it.
Yeah, I had to lay a trail of breadcrumbs that were, and just like you said, subtle,
Hmm.
because Pen Pal is one of the only books that I knew the ending when I started writing it. Like Perfect Strangers, I had no idea. I was just like, oh my God, this could be a cool twist, and I threw that in there, and then I threw
Not
another one in
cool,
there.
cruel
Yeah,
Yeah,
children. Okay.
you broke it. Yeah,
cool.
you broke
Yeah.
my
I'm
heart.
just kidding.
Yeah,
That
I
was
had no
that was
idea.
Oh,
so
At the
hard.
beginning of Perfect Strangers, I'm just like, I don't know who this guy is. So I was finding out along
Mhm,
the way. So that was fun for me. But Pen Pal, because there are so many things that warrant a reread, I had
mhm,
to put all these little breadcrumbs in. And it was a lot of fun for me to write, but it was also kind of melancholy for me to write. I cried a lot during that book because I knew what she didn't know. Usually
mm,
my characters, I'm discovering it along with them.
hmm.
But this book was it was very personal to me because my dad had passed, and when he died, he was telling me, and he was an aerospace engineer. So my father was a very stoic man, and he wasn't prone to whimsy. But when he was within a week or so of his passing, he was telling me all these things about seeing angels and seeing lights, and so I
Mm,
got kind of emotionally overwhelmed when I was writing Pen Pal because all of those experiences were coming back to me. So I don't
mm.
know if that answers your question, but
No, it does. Well, and it leads into another question I have. some authors say the characters talk to them and the
Mm,
characters tell you where you want to go. Some
mm.
authors that doesn't happen. What's it like for you? Did you know Kayla and Aiden, and were they telling you where to go, or
Well,
were
I
you
knew the
directing
premise of the
them?
story. Yeah,
Hmm.
I knew the premise of the story, but I didn't really know them well enough. So in the beginning, I had to kind of figure out what their personalities were, and that just sort of happens organically by writing. By figuring it out, by putting the words down on the page.
Poor
And there's
Kayla,
a
she had
lot.
no idea what was coming.
Yeah.
You had to tell Kayla what
Mm.
was happening.
I did, and it was kind of, I mean, being a writer is a weird thing because you're just alone in a room
Mm.
making up people and people that have to be alive enough so that the reader is actually invested in these fictional characters. And I, as a writer, some writers are not like this. They know exactly where they're going the whole time, and they're like the watchmaker, they're doing the whole thing, and I'm the person who is sort of observing. I almost feel like I'm just a conduit. Like where I'll sit in a room and I'll sit in front of a computer and I'll just start playing around. And if I get into the flow, I feel like something is coming through me, not really
Mm.
from me. I know it
Yeah.
sounds woo woo and esoteric,
Yep.
but
Yep.
and
I've
that's
heard it
when I
from others.
really get into it. And if I start sweating or crying or whatever, and my husband thinks I'm a crazy person because the door will be closed and he can hear me just cackling in the room or whatever it is. And he's like, you realize that you're nuts, right? But yeah, so to me it's a process of discovery, which is why I like it so much. It's very creative.
Yeah. Um, okay. So, Tara and Troy, has anyone ever recognized your voices as Aiden and Troy? Because at this point in time, I would. If I talked to you on the phone, I'd be like, wait, are you Kayla? Are you Kayla? Are you Aiden? Have they recognized your voices?
No, no, not as
Ah,
those characters. No, I've had
Okay.
other characters be recognized
Okay.
in
mhm.
like a store, or if I was like in a GameStop the other day and I did a voice and of course they know the game. So like, wait a second, you
That's
know,
so
I,
cool.
I know that
Yeah,
voice. I know that.
When
And,
they find
that's pretty
out, the
cool.
gamers,
uh,
because those
It is.
gamers are
they
serious.
know,
Hmm.
Were they
they
so excited?
know my
Were they
voice.
like,
Yes,
were you? Yeah,
they were so excited and I
I
was
bet.
So
excited.
cool.
And
Yeah.
then, it was just, it was great. We speak the same language. So, so,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it was really, really, really fun. But I've never had anyone go, oh, you're Kayla. I haven't had that happen. No,
Yeah.
Not yet.
not yet.
You did with me, but I knew who I was corresponding with. So,
Yes.
Troy, what about you? I bet your voice has been recognized a few times.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. So it's the only thing that I can think of is like every now and then, you can kind of tell like I feel like people like if they know, then they don't necessarily say anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say
So,
something.
but I mean, there
Somebody
have
in the
been
comments just said I'd know Troy's voice anywhere. So yeah,
uh,
maybe. Yeah.
like I went to a uh well I had a doctor's appointment and like eventually like the nurse said, so what do you do for a living? And I said, oh, I'm an audiobook narrator. And she's like, I knew it. And then
Oh,
and then she actually brought up pen pal, and which is pretty. I mean, I think like if there's any book that I would be like known for, that would be the one, I think.
did she
Yeah.
ask you to call her Bunny or?
No, she didn't. And that's nice.
That would
I'm
have been
glad
awkward.
for
Yeah.
that, because it's a little
You're
bit
like, my
different with
wife is right here.
being
I
in the
can't.
same room. Yeah.
Oh
um,
But
man.
yeah. So
yeah.
but yeah, typically it's like, what do you do for a living? And then I'll say, and they'll say like, oh yeah, you've got a kind
I
of
can
a
hear it.
voice like that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Pen Pal was my first Troy Duran book,
Yeah.
very
Oh,
first one, and I
That's
was
that's
like,
not a bad
it's a
one. Yeah, I
good
like
one.
that.
I was
It's a
like,
good
where has
one.
this man been all my life? So now I'm
Yes.
on. I call it the Troy train. I'm like, choo choo. Come
All right.
on,
I'll take that.
you're so you have a range that
Hmm.
sometimes voice actors don't have, and I love that when
Oh man,
you come up with a
that
different
makes me
character.
feel so good.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
so
when
great. Yeah.
you like so when Tara, when I listen to Tara, it's like she has like she becomes all of these different characters, and
Hmm.
she's got her own uh personality for each one, where you feel like she's
They're
in
all
Midnight
different.
Valentine.
Hmm.
Tara plays her, and and her real estate agent.
Hmm.
And like those two people are so completely different, you would not know that they're both Tara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that she talks, but me being in my little dungeon here, talking to myself, doing my thing, I don't know if it sounds like I'm being different characters, or if it's just sounds like Troy,
No, it
making
was
different
great.
facial expressions while
Yeah.
I'm trying to do different
No, it
characters.
was great. I
So
remember
yeah, if somebody
the
says, "Oh yeah, I like your, the way that you separate the characters," it makes me feel good.
I
Oh,
have
good.
don't have a very good memory, but the character that was like the surfer guy that came in that was like, kind of like, yeah, I can
Oh,
do this.
yeah, he was the stoner dude. Yeah.
As soon as the stoner dude came, I'm like, and now I'm a fan. Like that was
Yeah.
did a great job.
Well,
You could
Yeah.
convince me you were him.
that's the guy that I had to redo at the
Really?
end. Hmm.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and okay, so I'm not. I can't. I mean, I won't give it away,
It's
but
hard, I know.
basically at the end, I realized this guy is it's there's a reason he had to be a different person.
Right.
In the beginning, I made him like, Jeff Spicoli from Fast Times at
Yeah.
Ridgemont High. He was
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
But then I realized, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. So I had to go back and do him the way
That
that
makes
I ended up
sense.
doing him.
Yeah, that
And
makes
if
sense.
you like, once you get to the end of the book, you realize exactly why
Yeah.
So Troy,
he
this
had to be
this
different.
is just making me make a mental note that on our next collaborations, our next 27 collaborations,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just give you some notes at the beginning
Okay.
of
Okay.
what this character, right? So you don't have to read the book. I'll just say, okay, here's his motivation, here's his whatever, and you can just that might make it easier for you because I don't
I
want you to have to
appreciate
go
that.
back there. Yeah,
Well,
we'll do it.
to be honest with you, there's, I mean, there have been times like, I feel like, and this is going to sound like I'm blowing smoke, but um, I like when I'm reading your books, um, I feel, there really is like a lot of, um, I put a lot into wanting to make sure that it's just right, that I'm doing a good job on, on the characters. And so I might go back anyway and
Okay,
revisit
well.
characters too. So
I don't think
uh,
I've ever, and actually with both you and Tara, I don't think I've ever been dissatisfied with anything either one of you have done. And in fact, there's so many times when I'm writing a character, which just recently happened, Tara, with Beg for Me. The entire time I'm writing it, it's Tara's voice in my head. The
That was my
character
next
is
yeah,
question.
Tara.
Yeah.
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 And
yeah,
so for me, it's like it actually helps me inform the character because I can hear her saying these lines, and it's like,
mm,
oh yeah, well this is what it sounds like. So.
Yeah, because you guys, you've worked together quite a lot, all of
We
you here.
have, yeah, we
Yep.
have. I don't know the number of collaborations, but we have.
Yeah. And Tara's in Beg for Me. Is
Uh-huh.
that out yet? It just
Beg for
released,
Me
yeah.
is out, yeah,
Yep.
and
yeah.
Troy is in all three of those, and Tara was also in the Queens and Monsters series, and I mean,
That's the
Midnight
one I was
Yeah.
Valentine,
told
yeah.
to read next. They were like, read that
Okay,
one, The Queen
Yeah, I
of
yes.
try not
Monsters.
to get too jealous, but Tara's got some real chemistry with Connor Craze too. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
mm.
he
I feel a little jealousy. No, I'm
they sound
feeling
really good.
that.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
So
So when you write, you do really think about Troy and Tara's voices in some of your characters.
And it's hard once, yes, and it's hard for me once I have established these voice actors that I really trust can bring characters to life to kind of picture other people. And actually, some characters in my head don't have a voice. They're just on paper, but some of them do. So big for me. Troy had a contest with his production company, Dark
mm,
Star, and there was a whole bunch of winners from that, and a lot of them I think all of them were in Beg for Me,
yeah,
and because I knew all those voices, it was kind of fun, writing Beg for Me with some of those voices in mind. But I normally don't have them in mind, and sometimes characters are just so completely different. I'm like, I can't make Troy that guy because it's just like I can't have Troy and Sarah do every single character in every single book.
yeah,
I mean, you could. It's a
I could,
choice.
I know, I
yeah.
know.
It would be funny, but
Well, and they're
then
both so
it would
versatile.
start to be like an Adam Sandler movie.
Right.
Yep.
It's just
You have the
us all the
Which
same
are
you have the
time.
great
same character
movies.
doing all the same things.
Great
Yeah.
movies. Well,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and switch to my next question for Troy, and it is about your Dark Star. Like I've heard about Dark Star. I've tried to look it up. I've heard that you're kind of really heavily involved in it.
Mhm.
What is it, and what role do you have in this? And is it still happening?
Yeah, Darkstar is so you're talking about the audiobook production company,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
Darkstar is my audiobook production company. And so we it kind of started with me as I went along and started booking farther and farther in advance. Oftentimes, authors would, they would come and say, is Troy available? And if I was booked out a year in advance, they
Hmm.
would probably, their timeline doesn't match up, and they're like, well, do you know anybody else who might be available? And so I thought that's a great opportunity, and
Mm.
so we formed Darkstar. And I got the name from man. I hope I don't get myself in trouble with like trademarks or whatever. But you know that "Young the Giant" song?
Super
I'm not
Um,
cool, so if it's a cool song, I don't know it.
it's one of their big one. It's called "Superposition." And in the song, he sings, "In any universe, you are my dark star." And I thought, what a great name! And so, Dark Star it is.
And there was a competition. Was there a competition? Yeah.
So we had this competition called the Next Dark Star, and it was kind of like and Tara was involved too. She was one of our mentors in this
celebrity
competition.
mentors. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Such a great
and
experience.
That's cool.
Yeah, it really was.
it was a blast because we had all of these aspiring narrators
Mhm.
submit their original stuff, and then we kind of like narrowed it down. We started with like over 200 narrators. We narrowed it down to, I don't know, I think it was like the top 50, and then we started asking TikTok, the TikTok
Oh, that's
BookTok
cool.
universe,
Yeah.
like to narrow it down
The
for us, and
vote.
we finally
Yeah.
got down to the very end, and and we had I think we had like 20, and
Mhm.
our mentors, we had like really great
Incredible people.
narrators, in act as mentors. Teddy Hamilton and uh, 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 Brentmore,
Samantha? Samantha
Samantha
Brentmore?
Brentmore. I'm
Brentmore.
sorry,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and uh,
Marnie Young.
Stephanie
Marnie
Rose,
Young.
Marnie.
Absolutely.
and so we had all these great narrators
Yeah.
who were there to provide coaching, and then we would do a challenge, and then we would vote, to get to the finalists, and
Oh, that
those
sounds
final
really fun.
finalists were the last six left standing were in Beg for Me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
And so I love being able to tell my readers, my listeners, that there's a multicast duet because it's such
Mm,
a rich
mhm.
reading, listening experience for people.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love that. So, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of us, I'm sure all the viewers, we really do love that you guys are starting to do multicast duet. It's cool for us
I'll
because it's
never
like a
do
movie, you
anything
know?
else. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
never do anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we talked about Troy's Dark Start. Tara, we talked a little bit about your video games,
Mhm.
but how long have you been doing them? You're very big like you're a very big name in the video game world. I'm learning. And which do you like more? Do you like audiobook narration or video games?
They're very different. They're very different. And
Mhm.
I've been doing video games for like over 12 years now, 12 or 10,
Mm,
over 10,
Hmm.
10, 12 years. I absolutely, very different worlds, very different because video games, the process of auditioning for video games is different. Um, because a lot of the times, you're working on an audiobook and things are more precise. Whereas when you're auditioning for a video game character, and sometimes you're auditioning for a character, you get cast, you show up to the studio to record, and they're like, okay, here's your 4 characters. It's so sometimes you're getting cast as something you didn't audition for.
Yeah.
So then
Wow.
it's like, all right, let's go. What do you got? And then so you've got to be able to think fast on your feet and have your, that's where the experience comes in, and you've got your bag of tricks and you can kind of go in there and come up with these characters. But a lot of the times what they're looking for, depending upon the audition, there's different types of games. Some games are much more narrative and much more cinematic and much more grounded, and others are big, or, you're playing these really giant, like, performances.
Very
But
cool.
it's which is a whole lot of fun. So it's got to be quick. Sometimes you're going into 4 hour session and you've got 500-600 lines, or you're playing a role for over. I just said goodbye to a fabulous character that I've been playing for over 10 months.
Wow.
And so again, stamina comes into it. That's the similarity. You've got to have the stamina to do it. But they're looking for you to really kind of dirty up those reads a bit. So if you get an audition, punctuation doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't. Like you're the way what I'm doing right now, the way that I'm talking to you, when you hear the stuttering and you hear all of this, they want that kind
It's
of
natural.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Conversational.
Yeah.
As far as enunciation, throw it out the window, depending on the character, because if you're playing a type of character that is part of who they are. But they really want these, especially now, most video games are very cinematic. So they're very, very rapid performances. So that's really fun to do. So you have, and I do a lot of creatures also. So that's fun. I mean,
like, do the creatures talk, or they like roar?
But sometimes they talk, sometimes they scream, sometimes you're playing, these tortured things that are like, roaming the lands, and they're,
Can you do that one more time for us, Precious? How does
the
me. Creature go?
Arg. Yes, you're welcome.
Like
very good.
Talk to my agent. Okay.
Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love them both. I really do, because it's very, very different. Whereas, audiobook world, and I love, like JT's work. I just love sinking into these kind of, you get into your audiobook, and again, you're really living with these characters for a while. It's a different way of working.
Yeah.
You're kind of, you're kind of coming here. A lot of times video games, sometimes I'm recording at home, but studios have opened up now. So that's a totally different experience, which I'm obsessed with. Like I love going in studio and having that experience.
Really? Because I would think one of the perks is that you don't have to go outside your house.
No,
I
love it. I love it because you're working, you've got your director, the producers there, and the writer's usually there. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a writer who's written this character.
Yeah.
You have this there
feedback
the source. The source
nice.
is right here.
Yeah, it's nice to have human beings around you too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yes. And
get out of our little cave.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And if you're taking these risks, you're like, I'm going in, I'm taking that risk. So, and the director's right there to be like, yeah, no, or
that thing don't do that anymore.
Or, hey, Tara, we need, give us an ABC take real quick, and the best compliment you can get is, hey, we like all three. We don't know which take. We don't know which take to go with. Yeah. So it's exciting in that sense.
So what I'm hearing is that I'm underpaying you. We need to double Tara's hourly rate, I think.
Just write some monsters and she's good to go.
Oh my God.
That's all.
Give me some monsters. Give me some creatures. I love doing creatures.
I feel like you must have a fandom out there for, video games, like what, 90% of them are male, these gamers? So you must have like this whole cult following.
I do.
That's cool.
I do. And it's interesting, the characters that it's never who I think it's going to be. It's not like, oh, this character's going to come out and people are going to love it like crickets. And then it's like something comes out, and oh my gosh, what?
That's so cool.
I'll have like my Twitter will go off or something, when a character comes out. I'm like, oh, who's this? So that's really fun to kind of see who they are, and but it's fun, and I love it. But I love both. Awesome. I love both. Very different. Very different.
My son loves video games, but I don't tell my kids about this world at all. Like, my kid thinks I'm on a Zoom right now. But if I told him that I was with you, I think I'd be the coolest mom ever. But unfortunately, he'll be like, why is she on your work Zoom? I don't know.
I don't know.
Moonlighting.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
No. Okay, so JT, I started combing through the thousands of reviews out there. And I pulled one from Goodreads that said, Pen Pal is more than just the kind of book you'll be thinking about for days after you put it down. It's the kind of book you'll never, ever forget. And after reading it, I completely agree. And it's clear from so many reviews that readers feel the same way. How does it feel knowing that your writing has affected so many people on such a deep level?
Well, honestly, 99% of the time I don't think about things like that. But
Okay.
when you just hearing you say that, like I get emotional, I get a little
Mm,
teary-eyed because really when I went into this, and my husband keeps reminding me of this, that I said to him at the very beginning, I just want someone to read it
mm,
and to like it, right? So I was really just wanting to connect
mhm,
with someone. I wanted my words or my experience that I was trying to put down on paper to actually touch someone. And so I try to stay away from reading reviews, but occasionally I will come across some, and some are good and some are bad. But people will actually send me reviews that they have written, and it's very moving. It's very humbling. I think maybe it's kind of the reason that I wanted to do this, because any kind of art that you create, once you're done with it, once you've created it, it's up to the person who is experiencing your art to interpret it, right? And some people it won't move, and some people will pass right along, and some people it will touch a nerve and they won't ever forget it. And so some of these, especially with Pen Pal, because it's about what it's about. It's about everlasting love. It's about
mhm,
love transcending what we think is a final barrier, right?
mhm.
It kind of cuts through a lot of the noise and the BS. And I think a lot of people have had these experiences with loved ones who have passed. And they're hearing stories, or, when I wrote this book, my girlfriend came to me crying, and she said, my dad, after he passed, I knew that he was still there because I would come into a room and the lights would flicker. And so, I don't know, people I think have different reactions to it, but it means a lot to me as a person and as an artist that I can connect with with readers in
Yeah.
that way.
And I'm going to talk about another book of yours because I'm old, and sometimes it's
You're
hard
not.
to you can't
Girl,
teach
you
an
are
old
not as
dog new.
old as any of us, so
I'm 157 years old. Okay.
I don't want to hear
But
it.
Perfect Strangers,
Yeah.
your book literally changed my perception about like about that. Like when it happened, and then you're in there in that mind, and
Yeah.
I never had put myself ever in any type of position like that, and it really
Okay.
totally changed my perspective on things. Your book did that, and it's very hard to do that at my age. So you're very good writer.
Thank
Yeah.
Very
you.
good. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Well, that's just my cuckoo imagination. And it's hard as a writer to allow yourself to get past the noise, get past the expectation, especially when you become successful.
Mm,
There's an expectation. And if you, like, say, for instance, if I did a Pen Pal sequel, I would have to try somehow to get away from the weight of the expectations of those readers and what have you.
Mhm.
But
That's kind of interesting. Like, for a writer, you have you've got that danger of the, what do they call that? The sophomore,
yeah.
I don't know. It's
right.
the sophomore challenge. Like if you write a sequel, you're up against the success of your original.
And I think it's
Um,
yeah,
mm,
I think it's a common thing for every author to feel if they
Mhm.
have a very successful something and they really feel if they're not doing it because they just want a paycheck, which
mm,
I think sometimes you can tell the difference. If somebody,
Mhm.
whatever property it is, if it's a movie, if it's an album, if it's a book, you can kind of tell if the sequel was done because the artist felt like there was more story there was more to explore, and they really wanted to do that versus, oh, it's a paycheck. And I never
mm.
want to get to that space where it's just a paycheck. I'd rather just write a whole different story.
Yep.
But in the case of Pen Pal, I don't know the fandom and the characters themselves. I feel like there's a lot left there to explore.
As a fan, I completely agree with you. I would love to see you explore that. That
Oh
would be
man,
great.
you know,
Yeah.
but okay, here's my caveat.
Okay.
I never the thing with pen pal is that it in my view it's a happily ever after. In some other romance readers' views, it is not.
Yeah.
So I can't guarantee where I'm going to go with that. I mean, at the end,
Mhm.
it might be Othello. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. So
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
was on my list of questions is about
Uh-oh.
the HEA. So I had a friend that read this book because of this live. Like it's been on her list, and she's like, you're doing a live on it. Her name is Jackie, and she loves HEAs.
Okay.
So I was waiting to see at the end how she liked the book. She does not like non-HEAs. She
Okay.
loved it.
Oh,
So in Jackie's eyes, it's an HEA. When you wrote it, how do you view it? Do you view it as an HEA? Do you see, because some readers are, it's not. Like, how do you view it and how did you write it?
I view it as it's the ultimate happily ever after to me because
Yeah.
I'm a romantic at heart. Deep in my heart, I am a romantic. You know, I kind of my persona generally is that I'm sort of cynical and but deep in my heart, I'm a romantic. I really believe in the shit. Like, excuse me if it's supposed to be PG-13,
You're
but
fine.
I believe that.
What a potty mouth.
No,
You're
sorry.
fine.
I mean, I write
You were so
romance
good
because
until
I believe that this is truly the life affirming stuff, and this is the
Mm,
stuff that means something, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
And especially like when my father was passing, and I've had a lot of other experiences with people that at the end of your time here on earth, you are not concerned about how successful you were or how many cars you have or any of those other things. What really matters is the human connection.
Yeah.
And writing about that is meaningful for me. And so, yes, to me, it was absolutely a happily ever after. I know it's unconventional, and I know that the romance genre has certain, I don't know, restrictions or what have you, where people say it is or it's not. But to me, it is. But to each his own. You know, some people. I mean, I got some hate mail for this book. Like,
Hmm.
how dare you? You owe us an apology. And I'm like,
Do you get like a little excited about that? It's like, wow, I affected you that deeply. Like, good for me. I'm a great writer. That's what I would have said. That's how I would have
no,
played it off.
I never think in those terms. I just think like, oh my God, this person has too much time on their hands. They're sending me this email. You go touch grass, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to bring up another review, and this is for Tara and Troy. It's from Miss July, it's her name, on Goodreads. And she said, this book has not left my mind since I read it in August. When the audio became available, I knew I had to listen. The narrators and duet narration really brought this story to life. Tara Langella perfectly captured Kayla, her sarcasm, her dry humor, and all the emotion as she thinks she's going crazy, all are right there in Tara's voice. Perfect. Troy Duran, wow. His growly voice was ideal as our hero. To say it gave me chills would be a huge understatement. His ability to capture the hero's vulnerability during the emotional moments wasn't lost on me. I melted. So, for both of you, when you hear reviews like that, how does it make you feel? And have you ever changed the way you perform based on a reviewer's comments?
Well, I mean, I've never changed a performance based on a reviewer's comment. Um, I when I hear that, of course, it makes me. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
We all love it, right? I mean, listen,
Mhm.
Yep.
to have your work to have your work recognized, and this is why we do this. We do this, and I want to say thank you to all of the listeners out there,
Yeah.
because this is for them. This is for them. So
Mhm.
when I can hear that something that I've done, or narration, or particularly this combination, right, that I was able to bring these incredible words or this character to life, and that's touched someone in some way. Amazing. But I've never looked at reviews, because again, we're going to have people that love us and people
Yeah.
that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think too, I think also at narrating, and I have a particular style that's very performative,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
which some people really love, and I've seen reviews where people are like, yeah, no.
I
So
They're
loved it.
wrong. They're wrong.
I love
Yeah.
your I loved it. I thought you
Me
brought
so
it
too.
to a whole new
Oh,
level when I
oh,
listened.
but
Mhm.
there's
yeah.
definitely, and Troy knows, there's definitely there's different styles, and then there's that kind of traditional, very audio, book style that's very, very
Mhm.
straight style, and
Yeah.
that's so. Having said that, I want to be true to the author, and I want to be true to the story, and I want to bring that part of myself to the story. And when that's authentic, so yeah, no, I would not change a performance based on a review. Based on the author, of course, if the author comes back and says to me, hey, Tara, we need to fix a couple of things, and that involves me to go, hey, hang on a second, what happened here? What do we need to adjust? Same thing if I'm working on a video game and I'm working with a director. It's a partnership, and you work and you adjust, because maybe I can have an idea, and maybe that idea is it still has to serve the story. Ultimately, it has to serve the author's intent, the author's story, and those characters to do them justice. And then you
I
bring
love listening to you
yourself
speak
to that.
because you're so smart.
Hmm.
You're
And
so articulate
passionate.
and smart.
Yeah.
I love this woman. You're
I
the
love
best.
you. I love you.
Anyway, okay, Troy,
Troy,
your turn.
what about
You
you?
you guys do sound.
You're
I
next,
mean,
Troy.
the interesting thing about the two of you is that it sounds like what I know about JT is and the way that you write sounds like so natural and to your personality, Tara, that you guys feel like I don't know. I mean, it just seems like so natural, and like it seems like JT's personality comes out through you as well.
Mhm.
Like you guys are very similar
We're
personalities.
channeling each other a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to say, not to interrupt you, Troy, but I have to say, JT, when I'm narrating, when I'm doing JT's books, it is like just fresh air. I feel like I'm at
Mhm.
home. It's
Okay.
just like this incredible, like, oh, it's just second. It's like second nature. It feels like
Mhm.
the words feel like a second skin to me when I'm
Yeah.
there.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it.
But
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
always the case. It
Yay.
really does feel that way.
Yeah.
It
That's
Hmm.
great.
I always
Yeah.
like after I read your book, I'm like, how did you like it? I'm like, it was so well written. Like
Yeah.
Hmm.
it just was on another level. And then the
Yeah.
narration on it, that's why I had to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
But Troy, what do you do with reviews? Do you read them?
Yeah, I read them.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay.
So I mean, the bad ones are as much fun or more fun than
So you get a kick
than the
out of
good
them.
ones. But yeah, like so I think that so that where she said, oh yeah, Troy has a growly voice.
Mhm.
Um, I wouldn't want to change my style because like I never read a book thinking, all right, I'm going to put on my growly voice. Um,
Right.
like I would never like if you were to ask me to describe my own voice, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I have a growly voice. It's just like that's my voice. It's just who I am, and like the the words tell you what your character,
That's
what
right.
you're going to
Mhm.
That's
what you're
right.
going to be doing. So,
Mhm.
but that said, one of my early reviews I did take to heart
Uh-oh.
because there was a and it was like a pseudonym that it was back when I was like worried about like whether or not I was ever going to be president of the United States, and like I
Oh.
would like for the
So you
dirty
had a
stuff I
fake
would
name?
do. Yeah, I would do like one voice or one
One name.
narrator name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got a review on this one, and this is very early on, and she said something about like in my sex scene. She said he was so monotone,
Oh
and
no.
yeah, he
Oh
was he
no.
was she was like he was very monotone. It reminded me of like some guy in a raincoat, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, when I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm doing this intense and I'm like super sexy, but that's when I
No,
realized, oh
not
wait a
to
minute,
her.
I think I need to act through these scenes. So
And everybody's palate is a little different. So
Yes.
Yep.
mhm,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
Yep.
yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I think it's important to like just to be yourself. And I think like if I was going to give advice, and I have given this advice to a lot of narrators, especially like guys with really deep, sexy voices.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think one of the biggest traps that they fall into is like a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, you've got the sexiest voice," and so then they're like, "Oh, okay, so I'm going to be super sexy,"
Yeah.
and that's like
Don't
it's
try so
the
hard.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
opposite of what you want. You just want to
Yeah.
be
Right.
yourself, and
Right.
then and it'll happen. But I hear a
Hmm.
lot of guys
Yeah.
trying to sound sexy, and it doesn't work.
And
Yeah.
I do have to just say that there are some people who have the quality of voice itself is wonderful. There are a
Hmm.
lot of very good voice actors out there. The quality of the voice, you listen to all this stuff, but it's the acting that
Yeah.
really makes
Hmm.
there is a performance there, and you can't just have a nice voice and think you can do audiobooks, you know. So when
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was first starting to do all this stuff, I would have a lot of people audition, and I would think your voice sounds right, but it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, so it is a huge talent. I mean, you guys are actors, right? So
Hmm.
it is a
Hmm.
Yes.
huge talent to be able to
Yeah.
do it well. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
It's
kudos to
yeah,
you. Yeah.
and that's the fun part too. It's
That
like,
is the
To,
fun
getting to
part.
act is just the best.
It's
yeah.
Yeah.
acting. It's all about the character. I
Yeah.
think sometimes people say that, or they'll come, "Hey, I want to be a voice act. I want to do voice acting. How do I get into voiceover?" They'll say, "How do I get into voiceover?" And I'm always
Hmm.
like, "Take an acting class.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah.
Exactly.
acting," because
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's not about the voice or getting caught up in how you sound with the voice. Because you, JT was saying, you can have a great voice, but can you act?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
And
it's
there's
all
nothing
acting.
there. There's no there. You're just like,
Yeah.
I'm I'm attracted to the voice actors that act and have range.
Hmm.
And
mhm.
I remember my first, like my after Perfect Strangers, I'm like, JT, you do a great job selecting your narrators. Like you're the last two books, so I'm
Well,
gonna
and one of
read
the
some
hardest
more.
things too is the sexy times, because if you have
Mm,
actors who are wonderful in all of these other things, and I imagine it's kind of embarrassing, right? You're reading these words aloud, and even when I read them aloud, I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I wrote that, because it's a lot. But for the character,
Hmm.
they're living their life. But yeah, so you have to be able to also have someone in the romance and erotica genres where they can convincingly
yeah,
say these words, because otherwise it just gets a little ick.
yeah,
If
it's
you don't do
true.
it right, it can be ick. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
now that you led us down that alley, I read somewhere where you said those scenes are the easiest for you to write, where other
yeah.
authors say they're the hardest. So they come easily to you, those
It's
scenes?
funny. Well, when I'm in the right mode. So if
Um,
I'm in if I'm writing a chapter, and this has happened a couple times, I'm writing the chapter, I'm going along, and then it's progressing towards, okay, now we're gonna have an intimate moment. If I am not feeling that, I'll just put a little placeholder, like, insert sexy times here, and I will continue on. Because the worst thing that you can do as an author is force it, because then it's
mm,
just
Hmm.
weird. So I'll just put a placeholder if I don't feel like it. But usually those are the times when I'll go on and tell my husband I wrote 10,000 words today, and he's like, "Was it a sex scene?" Yes, it was. So to me, because that's when it's a climax, right? All the tension, all the action, all in a romance, all of this stuff has been leading up to that, and so it's a release of all of this stuff, all of the emotions and everything. And so for me, it just is very natural, and I don't have shame around that subject. So I like to write it, and I
yeah,
use all the words. When I first started writing this stuff, I was a little bit more reticent, but once my parents both passed, I mean, and this is probably a weird thing to say, but and I knew they
yeah.
were never going to read my work again. I was like, oh, it's on, so
Gloves off.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That, I mean,
Hmm.
totally makes sense
I
to
felt I
me.
felt a
Yeah.
release. So yeah, so it is pretty easy for me to write.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's talk about writing. Like some writers have rituals. Do you have a ritual of you wake up every day and you go in and you write, or is it when it speaks to you, do you go? Like, do you have a
yeah,
writing ritual?
I wish that I were the type of personality who was predictable and organized and everything, but I have learned about myself the older that I get. The fewer restrictions I like. So I don't, and I'm not superstitious at all. So I don't have that thing where I have to have this in this way and I have to be wearing the black sweater. But it does help if I write first thing in the morning, just because my
Mm,
head is clear. And so if I'm on a deadline or what have you, I like to write very early in the morning. I'll go into the room and I'll shut the door. But also, I think this is terrible to say. The older I get, the lazier I get. So, like, if I'm not in the mood
fair.
now, there's something else that I need to go do. I need to go watch the birds, outside, right? But so I'm not a disciplined writer at all, and it would behoove me to be a little bit more disciplined. And actually, I've written 35 novels so far, so it's like
I was
I
gonna
What
don't
are you
say
even know
that's a
doing?
how I've
lot.
done this because
Yeah.
I'm a sloth. I'm like a human sloth, but
Well, but I feel like you're one of the quicker writers when I started looking at your career. You do pound out the books.
do I? Because my
I do.
husband is like, girl, you need to start writing a lot more books, and I'm like, what do you got to buy a boat? Like,
Do you know who I'm? JT
yeah.
Geisinger. Do you not? That's what I would say. You pound out the books,
Oh
sir.
no, he'll just turn the hose on me. Like, okay, go write some books.
Hey, babe, I'm looking at this car. I was thinking maybe if you could write another book.
I feel like that's true,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But I need an inspiration. So for him to be over there going, yeah, whatever. Yeah. No, I don't have rituals. I write as it comes to me. And if I sit down and it's not working, it's not coming to me, I will go away from it. Because the last thing I want it to do is feel like a job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. It's interesting
So
you say that though, because every time I read one of your books, when I'm reading it, I always put a black sweater on. It's like my thing.
is it?
Yeah.
You
She's like, I
always?
don't know what
It's
you're
a
saying,
turtleneck.
Troy.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Sometimes I'll smoke a pipe while I'm.
Is that right? With
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
isn't that like a silk robe though? That's when you do the pipe and the
Yeah.
like a red.
The silk
I don't.
robe? No, but
Oh
I'll
no.
try that for the next one.
Oh goodness.
I'll let you know
Okay.
how it
Just don't
goes.
put that picture up on the internet. We don't need to know any of
Yeah.
that. No.
Or do maybe I'll go by. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Don't do it.
Do
Don't
like
do
Do
with a crushed velvet painting behind me. It'll be
it.
That's
awesome.
right. An Elvis painting, yeah.
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 Tara and Troy, what do you think people miss, like listeners miss, if they only read the print version? Like,
Mm.
what do you think people
Mm.
get out of the audiobooks that they don't get in the books?
Well, they miss Tara for one.
And I
Yeah,
miss Troy.
it's
Like
true.
that's.
Yeah.
But
Do you
I
guys have
think.
a good answer for this? Some of my questions are kind of hard, and you're like, I don't know how to answer
They
this.
miss there's a whole different layer of emotional depth
Agree.
when you hear it, I think. I
I
mean,
agree.
so I listened to Pen Pal and these two, and I'm just like crying, and I'm going, oh, I did, it was like so,
Mhm.
it brings it to life in the way that watching a movie brings it to life.
Yes. Yes.
If you like the movie version, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of your favorite book, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you guys can answer that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of like when I was talking about how when I first listened to Othello in just listening and not seeing that visual. So it's
hmm
what's really nice about it is you're having these voices in your ear, you're having this and then you're hearing the chemistry, right? You're hearing that
hmm
chemistry
Mhm.
of people,
hmm
but it's still also giving you that freedom to visualize the
yes,
rest.
Yeah.
yeah,
Your
So
imagination.
yeah, you
yeah.
can use your
Yeah.
imagination, but then you have these voices here that you can connect with. And I think it's so intimate,
Yeah.
just,
Intimate is the word,
we're
yes,
Mhm.
literally like, kind of in your ears. And it's a
yes.
very, very intimate,
Yeah.
beautiful thing when you can really kind of, when it just can kind of take you to a whole other level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And this will not be a spoiler. So if anybody gets mad at me for this is not going to be a spoiler.
Okay.
In the opening scene when Kayla comes home, um, after the funeral,
hmm
and as I was listening to Tara uh, describe the way that she was feeling and the atmosphere around her and the weather outside and the sounds of the house around her, I felt like I was in that house with her.
Mm.
hmm
And it's one thing to read the words, and especially like with me, my brain is like a squirrel. I have, like, as I'm reading, the problem with me reading oftentimes is like I'll have to go back and read again a paragraph, just
Yeah.
Mm.
because like my mind starts to wander,
Goes.
and like
Mm-hmm.
I read one thing and it makes me think about something else, and
hmm
I start to wander. But
Yeah.
in that opening scene when Tara's reading that uh the way that she's feeling and the house around her and the weather outside,
hmm
and the noises in the house, I mean, I had a chill in my bones, and I felt the way that, and JT's writing is just like, that's the magic of her writing, is that
Mm-hmm.
it really puts you in that scene. So
Mm-hmm.
to have JT describing the scene and then Tara audibly conveying it really articulates it in a way that I think that you don't get if you're simply reading it. Um,
Agreed.
it's
Yeah, no, I
it's
agree.
it's a very it's fleshed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's why a lot of authors go to audiobook is because it's another dimension to
Mhm.
your
mhm,
work and your creative process. And I think it's great. It's my
yeah.
favorite. Um, okay, so Tara and Troy, do you guys have a favorite line or scene from Pen Pal that you think back and be like, that was my favorite to do?
Oh, I have so many, but I can't say what they are.
Okay.
Um,
Because of the spoilers or
Spoilers.
okay.
Oh,
I
all
wasn't
right.
sure if it's
Okay.
not PG-13.
So
Oh, well, that too.
I think that
Yeah.
like we kind of did that.
There's
We
one
kind
in
of
particular that I loved you.
I'm going to read that. So in the manuscript, like it's not very far in. It's well, it's chapter 3, and it was the letter from Dante to
Mhm.
Kayla.
Mm.
That's not a spoiler, right?
No.
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 Okay, good. Yeah.
No.
So basically, I think that's what kind of like really uh,
Hooked you.
did it for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what hooked me for for the entire story. Um,
Do you
was
have it up?
that one letter.
Do you have it up right now? Can you read it?
Yeah, well, okay. How about so there's like one. It's a whole long letter. It's not a long letter, but it's a letter. But the my favorite words in the letter were the part in the middle where he said, "I know the shape of your soul. I know your hands tremble as you read these words, and your heart beats as fast as a hummingbird's wings." Um, that was like, I mean, it made me it made me think of like a first kiss,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's it was yeah. I mean, that was the line. It's like it took me to this very specific moment, and where of a first kiss when I could feel her heart beating against my chest, and it's like it took me to that memory um, immediately.
Yeah.
And so I think that was what got me hooked.
Well, that goes back to you're a romantic. Like you're a want
Mm,
love to win out, and you're that right there. Like when she read those words, I was like, I could feel it. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
yeah.
Now I know the end of the book, and I almost cried when you read it. Thank you very much, JT. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no,
You're.
I mean, but this is the genius of good narrators is
Yeah.
that they can translate an author's intent into audible emotion,
Yeah.
right? to
Mhm.
where
Mm-hmm.
to where I can write words and people can have their own private interpretation of it. But when you're hearing someone who has a beautiful voice and who also has a depth of soul that can read these words and they can interpret them into a certain, I don't know, it just touches people. And so
Yeah.
I I that's why I love audiobooks because
Yeah.
it's a whole different venue for people to really connect with the work.
Yeah.
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 Okay. This next question's for our viewers out there.
Oh.
Ooh, ooh.
I want them to put an emoji. If you read the book, what best describes your reaction when you finish the book? One emoji. So when you finish the book, what was your reaction? I just want to look and see what some of them say. And can
They're
everyone
gonna
see the
have like
It's
a
the
chat?
first one
picture
is
of
an
my face with
eggplant.
a target on it. Like
I think mine would be like the
Oh
face
man.
that's like
oh,
this.
yeah.
Aw.
Oh, the melt, dead.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
great.
Some of these I don't even
Agreed.
know what they mean. I'm just like, is
Like
it
this
good
one's
or is
the
it
brain is like,
Yeah.
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 There's lots of oh, sad.
Oh,
Oh, sad.
Oh,
I'm laughing.
yeah.
I
Well,
like
I
it.
think this is sometimes crying
Oh,
for older people, just to let you
okay.
know.
Okay.
For
Oh.
young, yeah,
This is how
just to
old
let you.
people cry.
Yeah,
Okay.
old people cry.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh
people
A
my
lot of
cry.
mind
God.
blowns.
A lot of mind blowns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's the devil, and I think that one was for you, JT. That little devil there is for you.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh gosh, these are good.
They are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, these are sweet.
So
These are
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
It's funny. I like
Oh,
it. I like it.
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I love it.
So for you guys, it's 2 years later.
Hmm.
Okay. What's your biggest takeaway from being the narrator's the biggest part of this audiobook, and for you, JT, for writing it? Like, what's your biggest takeaway?
I'll let you guys go first.
Okay.
I just have to say, this was just like the readers, and all of these emojis that we're seeing go by. This was one of the most.
Eggplant.
Oh,
I knew it was going to come sooner or later.
right. Where? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Well,
Kat.
that's accurate. That's accurate.
Where's the bunny? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
It just. This was just one of the most incredible experiences that I had as a narrator,
Wow.
Mhm.
because it just this whole story, and as I said, Precious, I read the story first, so I read it, but narrating it, going back and then narrating it and playing it was a totally different experience,
Mhm.
because it was like rediscovering everything all over again. And there were parts of me, and it was emotional for me. It was so emotional, pen pal, for me.
Mm.
And I just felt that it kind of opened up a whole other
A
level for
whole
me.
new world. Oh, sorry.
A new
Don't you
You got
dare
some
close
pipes.
your eyes.
Can I sing like Disney
I couldn't
princess?
resist. Okay.
They all sing like this. A whole new
Whole new
world.
world.
Right?
It's all up in the sinuses.
From
Yeah.
a fantastic point of
Oh, we're
view.
just gonna now. This is Pen Pal
Nice.
After Dark, is what's happening
Yeah.
here, and I'm here for
Pen
it.
pal
What
after
happens
dark.
after 9:15? But it
That's
just
right.
brought up a whole. For me, it was like another notch for me as a narrator,
Mhm.
personally. But just also the experience of then going back and listening to the whole production
Mm,
was. This
cool.
is just one of my absolute favorites for me personally.
Wow,
Mhm.
Thank you.
that's
I
good.
love it.
Thank you.
Tori, what
Yeah, I
about
think
you?
it was a pretty special experience that I feel like is not. It's uh, it's a great story,
Mm.
and it was it, and then like all of the twists inside the story made for like a whole great entertainment um, to the story. It kind of like I don't know what was that movie the Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
where you go
Yeah.
back and you're like,
Yep.
wait a minute, and then you have to go
How
back
did I
and
not
Then you
see
have to
all
go
that?
back. Yep.
yeah, you know
That's what it
that.
reminded me of.
So it was a great story, and it had this really really exciting aspect to it as well. Um, but the writing is, I think that I don't know. I think Tara and I probably can appreciate more because like we were focused on the writing, and so me reading it was like, wow, this is really special,
Yeah.
and it was really a great experience for that. But then I mean anything that I'm in with Tara is going to be super cool because
Yeah.
Next
Tara's going to
level.
make me
Next level.
sound better,
Yeah.
and so but I think that's like
I like it.
you don't always come across something like that where all of these different elements hit and they're all perfect, and so
Yes.
like
Yes.
Oh, well.
anytime somebody says to me, oh well, you're an audiobook narrator, what do name a book that I would love to read, and then I will always say pen pal because it's like I
Oh,
know that it's that
Wait,
it's going to be a special experience for whoever listens to it.
that's so
yeah.
nice. Thank you, Troy.
Didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
You told me to read Pen Pal. Was it?
Yeah.
I think when I was corresponding with you about giving something for a giveaway, you were like, I was like, what's one book I need? And you said Pen Pal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
You're the, I
Yeah.
was trying to think, well, who told me?
See, I'm not just
Probably should
flattering you,
remember
JT.
that.
It's true.
I think
Yep.
he just wants me to start sending him some royalties, is what's
Yeah.
happening.
Or
Well,
maybe,
I wouldn't turn
maybe
it
that Pen
down,
Pal 2 you've
but
been talking about.
That's
Pen pal
I
right.
don't,
too. Pen pal
I
too.
don't know.
Yeah. Pen
yeah.
pal 2 Afterlife.
Yeah,
Here we go.
let's do it.
Yeah.
You guys are
Here,
totally inspiring me. Yeah.
all the chat is suggesting it too, just to let you know, just
Okay.
Hey,
everyone.
well,
But
okay, so
everybody zip like nobody heard about it. It's a secret.
if there was, how do I make this not a spoiler? Um, if you did,
Yep.
if there was a sequel,
Yep.
I would like to see one person suffer a little bit more than they did. I think it was
Mm,
implied,
Mr.
but
Michael?
I would like to see karma
Hmm.
hit a
yeah,
little harder.
Agreed.
me
Yeah.
too.
Agreed.
So.
Well, I have several ideas, but the problem with me when I start thinking about sequels,
Mhm.
so have you seen that movie Inception?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I start going like, okay, is Pen Pal on this level, but
Oh
the
shit.
real thing is up
Hmm.
here, and
Wow.
what we
Mm,
saw in Pen Pal is like 4 layers down. That's where my mind goes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so
ooh,
I'm already going like I already have all the stuff going. Oh, they're
ooh.
gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when you're ready, we'll
Okay.
be
When
here
you're ready,
ready.
we're ready.
Yep.
Yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
JT, what is your biggest takeaway 2 years later from this
Actually,
experience?
it was traditionally published 2 years ago, but I indie published it. I self-published it in August of 22. So
Yep.
it's actually 3 years ago.
Mm.
Yeah.
And my biggest takeaway is that it's great for me to take a chance on stuff that I'm like, oh my God, people are just going to think this is the craziest thing in the world. Because I did that with Perfect Strangers, I did it with Pen Pal, and so just I'm loving that readers, it's actually kind of cool too that people are divided on whether it's, a happily ever after or not. There was a lot of
Mm.
controversy when this book first came up, and I wasn't sure how to take that. And now that I'm a few years past it, I think it's a good thing because there's a lot of discussion about it. And so, obviously that can only help it. But yeah, I think I'm going to continue to traumatize readers for a while now. I think it's my thing.
Yeah.
Well, I will say about the HEA, like 3 years ago, it might have been hard, but maybe because of books like yours being so popular, more and more, it's someone, I think Joe Arden said, every story deserves to be told.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So every story, no matter if it's happy ever after or not. So maybe you kind of started changing that trajectory of
We'll see. I don't
romances.
know.
Yeah. How does
We'll
that
see.
feel?
Yeah.
You like, yeah. If there's, you are starting like you're a trendsetter. That's the word, trendsetter.
Yep.
Well, I don't like to write in a box. And so my first publisher, and God bless them, they're amazing, but I was writing paranormal and then I started
Mm.
writing contemporary and they're like, "We don't know how to market you. We're not sure. Like you
Mm.
should just be writing this." And I said, "No, I want to grow. I want to stretch." And I'm bored with that now. I'm moving on to this next thing. And
Hmm.
so I feel like my readership now understands that JT is going to be pivoting. We're turning a corner and we're going this direction and come along for the ride because I don't even know where we're going, but let's go. So,
Well, we're here for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
yay.
Oh yeah. I'm here for it. I mean, I would gladly read anything you write.
I agree.
You.
You're
And
you're both hired in
I,
perpetuity, so you're
a
not
long
fighting life for me,
list.
either one of
I
you.
mean, a long, long
Well,
Yes.
even
list.
for pleasure, like
Yes.
I would buy your book
Yeah.
and read it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Wait,
know,
what?
yeah,
Yeah.
just like, bring it to bed with me and read it next to the bedstand.
In his
I and
black
fall
Yeah, like
asleep.
turtleneck
pleasure,
Yeah.
pleasure
With the
reading.
robe,
Yep.
with the pipe.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the
With the
pipe.
robe and the pipe.
with
I'm
my
just
robe,
gonna
with my
wipe my
pipe.
memory
Yeah,
banks of that image.
with
So
yeah, with my turtleneck.
Well, I do like to end my lives with a question that I ask because there are so many good things about the book world, and I've experienced so much greatness, but there is a dark side to it. So my question I always like to end on these is, if you could change one thing about the book world, what would it be? And
you guys go first.
yep,
Oh
Oh.
crap!
yeah,
If I could change anything about the story, or
The
the
book
book
world.
world in
oh, the
general.
book world.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep.
Go
There's
ahead,
great
Tara.
side to it, and then there's some not so great sides to it. So
Yeah,
just wondering if you could change things. What's one thing you'd want to change?
I would change. I would change. I would change the gatekeeping.
Mm.
Um, and
Mm,
toxicity. Like I don't like the idea of people telling people what they can and cannot read.
hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
That that to me has no place in books, because I everything that I've read, even the things that I didn't like, um, I've gained from, from those things. So I don't like people saying this is a problematic topic,
Yep.
author, you know, so forth. That would be something what I would change.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it's so
Mm.
true. Don't yuck someone's yum. Isn't that
Yep.
the,
Hmm.
yep.
Don't yuck someone's
Yeah.
yum. I know a
Yep.
casting director who says that all the time. I love that expression so
Yeah.
much.
Who was that? That's a
Um,
book.
Is it?
it's
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
is
that's
it?
yeah.
Still Life with Woodpecker. I just don't remember the name of the artist or the name of the
Okay.
author.
Oh,
Oh wow, I don't either. I know that there's a casting director and she says it all the time about that. Don't yuck someone's yum in terms
Yeah.
yeah.
of, performance and things like that. You have to
Hmm.
allow for that expression. And
Hmm.
to kind of follow up on what Troy was saying too, because I always it's funny that you say that, Troy, and I think as a performer too. I mean, I've done so many different things, and coming from the theater and so many different plays and different approaches and working with different directors, and just there's so much diversity working with so many people that I would agree with that. I always try to make things about it's an art. This is we're
Hmm.
Hmm.
artists. Everyone is an artist. So
Yeah.
there's going to be certain things that don't appeal to you.
Hmm.
Hmm.
There's a book you don't like, you go, this isn't for me. You put it down, and
Tom
that's it.
Robbins.
Tom
Yes.
Robbins.
Thank you.
Tom
Yeah.
Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, say that we have to kind of, I think, to remember that this is about us being artists and expressing that. And if
Hmm.
there's things that we don't like, we have to, But I think everybody has a different process too.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I try. For me, I'm so involved in that process that sometimes I avoid social media.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I do. I think it's really.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, this is the best of social media right here. What we're doing with you, Precious.
Hmm.
This is how we use it in the best possible way, talking
Yeah.
about it and talking about these ideas. But there's definitely that other side that can
Hmm.
lend to that toxicity, and I
Yeah.
just stay away from that. And whenever in doubt, I focus on do the work,
Yeah.
do the
Hmm.
work,
Yeah.
do the work, do the work, and
Hmm.
that's it.
Yeah. That's a great motto. Do the work and
Do the
scroll
work.
on past.
Yeah.
Just scroll on past is what I have to
Mhm.
say.
You don't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to. Yeah. What is that? That you don't have to respond to everything.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
That's true.
You
Not
don't.
everything deserves a response. That's
Right.
Correct.
true.
No.
Yep.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, JT, what about you? I
I
keep
think
looking at
we're
Tara.
like
Yeah.
we're just melded in her mind. We're the
Thinking
same
about, yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for a writer, for me, it's the policing of language, the policing of language.
Mm,
And I mean, it's a little controversial, but it's who is allowed to write what.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's getting a little bit better, but there has been a very chilling effect in the literary world with people being afraid, especially indie authors, new upcoming indie authors. They're afraid of criticism. They're afraid to actually write what they want to write
Yeah.
because they feel as if they're
mm,
going to be attacked because they're not the right demographic to write
Hmm.
that story. And so for me, it has been, it hasn't really affected me that much, but I see it a lot, especially in the romance world, where if you are not of a certain whatever, you're not
Hmm.
allowed to say these words, you're not allowed to write these words. And I think it's
mm,
very important that we do support
Hmm.
writers who may not have as much opportunity as others, but it's also kind of from an artistic point of view. I think artists should be able to create the stories that they want to create without fear of being censored
mhm.
or
Hmm.
fear of being canceled, and that's a
Yeah,
very big thing right now.
Yeah.
it is.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
When I hear about things like that, I always think to myself, you know, one of the best plays that I've ever seen is Hamilton. I loved that so much.
Yeah.
And if it,
mhm.
if that rule applied, we would have never gotten to see that
Hmm.
because none of the founding fathers were black. But what an amazing
Yeah,
story
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was
that
brilliant.
it
was
was. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
and just this amazing way to deliver history. And it was very it was as far as I've read, it was very historically accurate.
Hmm.
You know, the the
Yeah.
the all the major things that happened. We wouldn't get that story if it had to do with, well, you come from this background, so you can only
Right.
write about this.
Yeah.
So
You know?
I think we just need to be careful about telling people who can say what, because
Mm.
that,
Hmm.
that's a scary, deep
Yeah.
dive into
Hmm.
totalitarianism. We don't want to
Yeah.
go there. Like, you need to be able to express
Right.
yourself, and people need to be able to choose if they want to
Hmm.
consume your art or not.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
perfect. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, as I wrap this up, everyone always asks me, what did you have,
Uh,
what do you have coming up? How can people find you? How can they go to your socials? Do you have any events coming up? Everyone always wants to know that stuff. So we'll start with Troy this time. Do you have any events coming up that people can see you at?
Uh, what?
that's
Oh,
a
you know what?
no.
So I yeah, you know what? I haven't planned any events for like signings.
No?
But I'm looking for a good signing to go to, because I've been off and doing my own thing, and have not had the chance to like get out and about
Well, you
and
need to
doing
add
things.
that to your list because
So
Yes.
people want to
yeah,
see you.
Yes.
Because we like our books signed by the author and then our voice actors as well.
yeah,
So
that'd be kind of
That's
cool.
right.
yeah,
Yeah, usually
yeah.
I'll write something like, I could read this to you, and
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
but
And then you've got socials. You, yep,
oh yeah, like
yep.
I mean I don't even know the name of my own social handle. It's something like,
Is
Troy.
it Duran Troy voice act narrator or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds
I think
right.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you like type in Troy Duran, then you'll see, like,
Mr.
Troy
Pipe
Duran
smoking
drama.
rogue. You'll just, yeah.
Yeah, and then
I really think he might change his profile pic to that. Just cause. I really think
yeah,
he
You
should.
should be looking out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but uh yeah, I've got so yeah, I'm on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram,
Okay.
and
And
so
I've seen you do live stuff on TikTok before.
so
Yep.
yeah, it's usually ill-advised, but
Oh,
We love
thank
it.
you,
We love
Nola.
seeing you guys.
Duran.Troy. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
so
Okay. Tara, what about you? What do you have coming up?
Um,
Anything?
I I have some things coming up that I hate to say this like this. It sounds obnoxious. I have some things that I can't talk about.
That's,
yeah,
we understand it though. I
We
get it.
love
Yeah.
I have some NDAs.
Yeah.
So I just turned into that person, but I'm mostly here on Instagram.
Okay.
So you guys follow me here, mostly on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on X as Tara Langella VO. You can find me there too.
oh
Awesome.
cool.
Great. And then JT, you have any signings coming up?
I had a book tour actually planned for Blackthorn. Blackthorn is coming out November 4th, but
Wow,
I
that's
have
right around
just,
the corner.
yeah, I just stepped back from the tour for some personal reasons, and I'm going to make an announcement coming up in the next week or two. But
Okay.
I'm always on, Instagram and Facebook. And I have a presence on TikTok, but the culture over there is not my, thing. It's not my safe space. So
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of tend to stay on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, my newsletter too is a great way to keep up
Oh,
with
okay.
me.
Yeah, I haven't signed up for that. I need to do that.
Yeah, that's where I do my, my ramblings, or Geissinger's Gang, which is my group on my
I
reader
think
group
I've
on
seen
Facebook.
that
Mm.
posted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank you three. I know we're going way over an hour, but the people that read your book love it. And I think that like this is a real treat for them because some of them might have
Thank
been on
you.
this journey a year ago and wasn't there for all the hype. I was June. So like, thank you for coming and spending time with us and talking to us and the viewers. And viewers, thank you guys for coming and participating
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
chat. And I just real quick want to thank the Precious Book Gal team who helped me create the questions and all the promotions. So couldn't do this without them.
It's a good
Um,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Precious, you
is.
did it. You're
So
Thank
much
you're a
you.
great
fun.
interviewer.
It
I
was
really
fun.
enjoyed these.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Our
really
It went
enjoy
precious.
them.
quickly.
It
Yeah.
did. It did.
Happens when you're
Yes.
having fun, right?
I
All
guess
right.
so, yeah.
Well, you guys have
Okay.
a wonderful
Thank you,
evening. And
Precious.
all right, I'll
Thank
talk
you
Okay.
to you
so much,
later.
Bye,
Precious.
Tara.
All
Bye,
right.
Good
Troy.
Bye.
Thank you,
night.
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Love
Good
Take
you.
Bye.
care.
night. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.